Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to cover Oracle Service Bus development tutorial. This tutorial will be helpful for uh, developers who have some background working with JDeveloper or Eclipse tool. So this tutorial mainly will cover Oracle Service developing services using Oracle Service Bus. Um, so the agenda, the topics that I'll be covering are Oracle 12c overview and architecture, how OSB basically fits in the end-to-end solutioning of any integration project. Uh, the JDeveloper installation, the version that you would need to develop service using uh, to deploy your services in OSB. And I think most of this presentation will cover the basics of developing a service in a OSB environment using JDeveloper. The transformation, I'll be covering some points on the transformations and the deployment. How would you deploy your services on the OSB in an OSB 12c environment, and how would you test these services? So let's get started with the architecture. Basically, Oracle Service Bus 12c is an enterprise service bus that would connect your service consumers with the providers. So the service providers will provide some kind of a business functionality that you could expose using various protocols using OSB. It could be like a SOAP or HTTP or a JSON-based RESTful services or a JMS. So OSB pretty much provides all the functionalities of an enterprise service bus, including validation, enrichment, transformation, and calling your backend service provider. So the service providers could be internal to an organization that usually will include any like ERP systems or a custom application written in .NET or Java-based applications. It could also be external service providers that they provide like a credit score or any external services that you want to leverage. So the OSB can connect to your backend system, and it can also call a beeple where it's basically where you want to call set of services in a coerce-based service, then you can use beeple. So to connect, usually OSB will be in a core network, and you have a load balancer. OSB will be usually in a cluster environment, so the load balancer will do all the workload management of the traffic and direct the request to the to a OSB instance. And the service consumers could be mobile applications, web applications, or cloud-based platforms like SFDC, a Workday. So all these, so uh, these service consumers will invoke uh, the OSB service using a protosop or JSON-based protocol, JSON-based RESTful protocol. Uh, so this kind of gives an overview how the service that you develop will fit into the overall project of either like providing information to your consumer applications, or the consumer application might be sending some information that you need. So in this tutorial, what I would cover is a use case that requires you to capture the invoices. The consumer applications are basically might have provided some kind of a product or a service to you, and they are sending you an invoice electronically. Uh, so in the service consumer side, it could be a web application that where a accounts receivable guy might be entering an invoice, and that uh, uh, as soon as the invoice is saved in their system, it basically generates an electronic invoice that is sent to this service that we're going to be developing actually. So it's going to capture the invoice in a, binary format, base64 binary format. It will have like basic details like invoice ID and bill to ship to that kind of thing, standard invoice information. So this service we're going to expose, we can expose it as a SOAP or a JSON. So I'm going to show both the protocols that how it can be exposed. And what we'll do in the provider side, we're going to have a Oracle like a SQL procedure that that will basically the service will in turn call this PL SQL procedure to capture this information. So, so before we start the tutorial, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you have all these steps uh, covered because Oracle to do development in JDeveloper for the Oracle 12c, you need these versions in your install. So first, what you'll do is you're gonna download the JDK 1.7. It requires like update 55 or later to work on the 12c environment. So make sure that you download 1.7 version, and then so in 12c actually Oracle ships you a quick start installer distribution actually. So with that distribution, you get a JDeveloper. In the prior version, like 11, you could install a JDeveloper standalone. But to do the any integration projects, to do any SOA components like OSB, BPL, rules, you got to have a SOA quick start distribution. With that, basically, you will get the JDeveloper in it. So once you have the so this is the zip file you're gonna download, and you got to unzip it actually after you download, and then make sure that you set Java home to the JDK 1.7 version, and so once you have done this all this step, uh, you're gonna execute a Java command against this the jar file that you obtained by unzipping the zip file. So once you have this, you will have the JDeveloper, so you can start the JDeveloper. Uh, you know, so so once you have the JDeveloper started, you're all set to do the service development. So what the topics that I want to cover is I'm going to just give an overview of the features of the JDeveloper that will help you to develop services in OSB with JDeveloper for OSB. The OSB projects are mainly comprised of the proxy services files, business services files, and the pipeline files, basically the split join resource file. So in this tutorial, I'm going to mainly be covering the proxy file, proxy services, business services, and they have these file names ends with the .proxy, .bix to indicate that they are business service, and the pipeline files basically pipelines are basically used to the 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 processing that you would do on the request message and the response message. The processing will comprise of typical enterprise service bus functions like transformations, enrichment, or a validation kind of operations. And then you have like a split join flow for doing any parallel processing. So I'm not going to be covering split join in this tutorial. You have like resource files the schema, WSDL, and the XSL file for transformation, and then you could also have a XQuery. So I'm gonna be covering the XQuery in this tutorial, uh, and create a like how will you create a business service? I'll be covering. and the pipeline to transform request response, and how would you expose this as a SOAP or REST full services. So let's get started. So I have JDeveloper already started here. Uh, so so the first step you're gonna do is you're gonna create a new applications, and you can give the application name. So when you do the application, so make sure that you gonna give a service bus application. So this is the service bus, select service bus application. So the other option is that you can also do like service bus application with service bus project. So you select service bus application and click OK. You can give a application name. So in this case, I'll just say that OSB demo application. If you want to prefix this, you can say OSB OSB demo and just say finish. So you have this application. Basically, the application on the left side will contain a set of projects. So you can set up like related project that you wanna have in this application. So create a new project. So in this project, you'll select uh, the you're going to select the Oracle Service Bus project. So here you will see the Service Bus project. So select this Service Bus project and say OK and give your name as let's say invoice service, because for this project we're going to name this project as invoice service uh, because it captures invoices from your suppliers. So so here you have a composite. So Oracle Service gives you the JDeveloper basically gives you the uh, gives you options to select your external services from which you will call actually, and that you're going to utilize by calling those services. In the external services, you can add if you want to connect to database, you can add like database connectivity. If you want to call another service, you can use like so these are different adapters that you can use actually. So HTTP, if you want to make a HTTP call, you're going to use this HTTP actually. If you want to make, if you want to send files, you can use a file adapter. So these are various adapters that you can use, the technology adapters you have. So for this case, and then you have, if you want to connect to EBS application or SAP applications, they're a standard or a JDE Word application. These are the adapters. You can use these adapters to make the calls. So for this tutorial, we will be mainly focusing on the connecting to a database and calling a PL SQL. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag this database adapter here, and it will ask, and you can uh, so I have given the name as Oracle DB Invoice Business Service. Basically, it will store the invoices that you capture from your from your service consumers, or and so you can. So for this one, you need to connect. You need to have a database connectivity. So you will enter all the connections that you need to connect to the database. So or you can use an existing connection to connect to the database.